Ambassador Marcus Wheeler stood before the Galactic Council, his worn boots clicking against the crystalline floor. The assembled representatives from 47 species stared at him with what he could only describe as horror mixed with fascination. "Let me get this straight," Velkoff, the Zentari representative, chittered through his translator. "Your planet rotates so violently that objects at the equator move at over 1,600 kilometers per hour?" Marcus shrugged. "Yeah, we call it standing still." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. The human delegation had arrived at the Galactic Council 3 months ago, and every revelation about Earth had been met with increasing disbelief. What humans considered normal, the galaxy considered suicidal. Dr. Jennifer Hayes, the expedition's chief biologist, stepped forward with her tablet. "If I may, Ambassador." Marcus nodded, and she addressed the council. "We've noticed some confusion about Earth's classification. For the record, what makes a Class 13 Deathworld?" The Morvian Chancellor, a blob-like creature that communicated through color changes, pulsed an anxious purple. Class 13 worlds are characterized by extreme gravitational forces, violent atmospheric conditions, aggressive predatory ecosystems, and geological instability. No sapient species has ever evolved on a Class 13 world. It's considered impossible. Well, Jennifer smiled, "I guess we didn't get the memo." Lieutenant Jake Morrison, their military attaché, couldn't help but chuckle. He'd been mostly silent during these sessions, but the sheer absurdity was getting to him. "You folks do realize we have sports on Earth that are more dangerous than most of your military training exercises, right?" Velkoff's antenna quivered. "Explain this football you mentioned in your cultural brief." "Which one?" Jake asked. "We have several sports called football. In American football, armored humans collide at high speeds trying to carry an inflated leather ball across a line. In regular football, soccer to us, people just kick it around, but the fans occasionally start riots." 4. Recreation. The Zentari seemed genuinely confused. "Yeah, and that's not even our most dangerous sport," Jennifer added. "We have one called base jumping, where people throw themselves off cliffs and mountains for fun." The chamber erupted in alarmed chirps, whistles, and chromatic fluctuations. Marcus raised his hands for calm. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed energy beings, I think we're getting off track. The council summoned us to discuss Earth's quarantine classification. You've listed us as a hazard level 9 planet. We'd like to contest that." The Morvian Chancellor pulsed a shocked orange. "Contest? You wish for a higher classification? Why would any species want that?" No, Marcus laughed. "We want it lowered. We're not that dangerous." "Not dangerous?" Velkoff pulled up a holographic display. "Your planet is 71% covered in a substance that dissolves most known spacefaring species. You call it water, and you drink it. Well, yeah, we need it to survive. Your atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, a highly corrosive gas that would ignite the cellular structure of 63% of known sapient species." Jennifer interjected, "Oxygen is actually quite common in the universe. In trace amounts." The Chancellor flashed red. "Your air pressure would crush a Deltarian. Your gravity would snap a Tholian's spine. Your temperature fluctuations range from frozen solid to combustion in the same solar cycle." Marcus exchanged glances with his team. "Okay, but we've adapted to all that. It's just home." The Chancellor's colors cycled through the spectrum before settling on a resigned blue. "Adapted. You use the word so casually. Human Marcus, do you know what we found most terrifying about your species?" "Our music?" Jake offered helpfully. "No, your heavy metal genre is considered a war crime on 14 planets, Velkoff muttered. "It's your persistence. We reviewed your historical records. Your species has survived 5 mass extinction events. You've endured ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, and you just kept going. Jennifer nodded slowly. The KT extinction, the Ice Age, Toba super-eruption, yeah, we've had a rough go of it. Rough? The Chancellor's entire mass quivered. Any of those events would have sterilized 90% of habitable worlds in the galaxy. But humans didn't just survive, you thrived. You spread across every biome on your nightmare planet. Deserts where water is scarce, frozen wastelands, dense jungles filled with venomous creatures, even the slopes of active volcanoes. Well, when you put it that way. Marcus admitted. Velkoth leaned forward, his compound eyes reflecting the chamber's lights. 3 weeks ago, we sent a probe to Earth. Standard reconnaissance. It landed in a region your maps call Australia. Oh no, Jennifer whispered. The probe was attacked by a creature you call a cassowary. It was destroyed in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Our probes are designed to withstand Class 9 combat environments. Jake tried not to laugh. Yeah, cassowaries are pretty aggressive. But they're not even in our top 10 dangerous animals. The chamber fell silent. The holographic display flickered, showing images of great white sharks, saltwater crocodiles, box jellyfish, and grizzly bears. Then it shifted to microscopic organisms, bacteria, viruses, parasites. And you coexist with all of these? Velkoth asked quietly. Mostly, Marcus said. Sometimes they eat us. Sometimes we eat them. It's complicated. The Morvian Chancellor pulsed a contemplative green. I begin to understand. You don't see your world as a death world because you're the apex species of a death world. What would terrify us is just Tuesday for you. Jennifer smiled. Pretty much. Look, we're not trying to minimize the dangers of Earth. We know it's harsh compared to most worlds. But we're here now, part of the galactic community. We can offer unique perspectives on survival, adaptation, and resilience. And pest control, Jake added. I hear you folks have a problem with silicon-based parasites in Sector 7. We've dealt with worse. Marcus straightened his jacket. So, about that quarantine classification. The Chancellor rippled thoughtfully. We'll reduce it to hazard level 7, with restricted visitation protocols. But Ambassador Wheeler, understand this, the galaxy isn't afraid of humans because you're violent or aggressive. We're afraid because you're survivors of a world that should have killed you 1,000 times over, yet here you stand, making jokes about it. Fair enough, Marcus extended his hand. After a moment's hesitation, Velkoth reached out with a tentacle to shake it. As the humans left the chamber, Jake whispered, should we tell them about hurricanes? Maybe next week, Jennifer replied. I don't think their hearts can take it. Marcus grinned. Wait until they find out about Australian spiders. Behind them, the Galactic Council began a very long discussion about humanity and what their presence meant for the future of the galaxy. For the first time in 10,000 years of galactic civilization, the impossible had walked through their doors, smiled, and asked to be friends. And the scariest part? The humans genuinely didn't understand what all the fuss was about.